Okay. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Carrie and Dani. So, I know that Carrie's been on a holiday.
Yes, ma'am, I have. That's why we've been a little bit slow to post some things. So, yeah, just got back a couple of days ago. So, really had a great time.
So
So,
you'll be a bit jet lagged still then, huh?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's currently about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in the US, and I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning because jet lag. So
Oh
anyway,
well, if your brain's a little slower than normal, we'll know why.
that's all right. No, we had a fantastic time. My husband and I went on a cruise from Barcelona to London. And so that was just absolutely fantastic. Um, saw a lot of things. It's really, really neat. Enjoyed it. So yeah. And few stops in Spain, and my last one was in England, and we took the opportunity to take an excursion out to Stonehenge. Got to see that.
Ah, I saw your photos and I'm glad you mentioned it because I was going to ask you about it otherwise.
Yeah.
Um, so what's one of the standout things? Obviously, I saw your photos, there were hundreds. What was one of the standout things from your holiday? Was there something that, you know, was there any place where you felt maybe the presence of God or had a thoughts about spiritual things or
Well, I think
something?
Stonehenge, and I know most people who are watching, I'm assuming they're familiar with it. I'm going to pull up one of my pictures that I took. And I was there, um, let me see, share, do my screen share. Um, 30 years ago with my grandmother. She took me.
Oh,
And my husband has not had the opportunity, hadn't seen Stonehenge before. So um, we took the chance and went. Um, can you see
oh,
my picture here?
oh, it's beautiful. I don't recall seeing that one. And I love the light, the sun over the top of it. It's stunning.
That one, let's see if I can go to the next one. That one was when we first got there. And when I went 30 years ago with my grandmother, the visitor center was right there. So you could see Stonehenge from the building. Now
Yeah.
they have repositioned it. English Heritage owns the site, many acres around. And you either can hike or walk out to it, or you can take a shuttle bus, and it's a mile and a half away.
Oh,
Um, so we took the shuttle bus because we had limited time. And so it's just absolutely fantastic in the middle of this wide open. Oh, there's a bird. Birds like to hang up on the tallest one. But here you can see just this amazing plain, just wide open. We got so blessed to be there at that time. And you go to England in the wintertime, it's rainy, it's drizzly. When I was there with my grandmother, it was in December and it was cold and rainy. I remember standing by Stonehenge shivering while grandma took my picture. And just the sunshine this day was just fantastic. And Stonehenge is just, it's such a mystery, and nobody really knows why it's there, how it got there. I guess they say some of the stones they figured out come from like 150 miles away. Speculation
wow.
is maybe they came from even Ireland just because of the kind of stone that it is. How did we think of primitive people, how did they get them there? What was it there for? Um, Now the site is closed off. You can get um, close. You see, the path is right there. That's as close as we could get. On the other side, we could get a bit closer. Um,
Hmm.
this big stone has something to do with the solstice. It lines right up with summer and winter solstice. They open that site up, and so you can get in for free for the summer solstice. They'll have thousands and thousands of people just come in, and our guide said she was there once for the summer solstice, and she said it was just a fantastic experience. And you wonder, why is it there? Was it a temple? Was it some kind of place of worship? Was it a navigation thing? We don't know. When was it built? They don't even really know that. Oh, there's sheep. There's always sheep hanging around everywhere. Like there, and we saw there was a security guard there. We overheard him telling one of the visitors that he had just had to roll over a sheep because it was stuck on its back because it was pregnant and couldn't roll over. And so they said, "Well, is that part of your job description?" He's like, "Well, not really. We're just helping out the farmer." you know. And there's these burial mounds, these Bronze Age mounds, just all around. Like, so were people buried there because they wanted to be close to Stonehenge? We don't know. And to me, it's just kind of fascinating to think about, what was this for? Do we understand? How old was this? In our education and upbringing as Seventh day Adventists, we're taught that the earth is only like, what, 6,000 years old. How old is Stonehenge? We don't know. Why was it there? We don't know. And on a recent trip as well, we were in Turkey and we in Crete, and we stopped at museums, and there's these amazing things that are tested that they're 10,000 years old. I don't know. I
It's that whole 10,000 years old thing. That's something that I've started to think differently about, I guess, since I'm disconnecting from the Adventist church, because I would have had a really easy answer to that in the past. I'd have said what I've been taught my whole life. Oh, well, if it's that old, then they've made a mistake with however they've judged the age or how they've tested it.
Mhm.
But while that was an easy opinion to hold, it was easier than not knowing. Um, you're right. We don't know. There's so many things that I guess I'm allowing myself to have more questions than I've had in the past.
It's and I think that part of me misses that sense of knowing and correctness. Like, oh, I have it right. But yet it is more fun to open. I hate to say open your mind, because then you're like, okay, you're gonna let scary things in, right? But to open, just to be a little more open-minded, learn about maybe what other people believe, what other people have experienced, and realize that others are living a good and, albeit maybe, holy life as well. Maybe it looks different than the life that we live, you know? Um, and who's to say there aren't there aren't other valid walks with God or spirit? Who knows? I mean, I hate to think. I'm very uncomfortable with the belief that if you don't believe in Jesus, you're not going to be saved. You're not going to go to heaven. How many of these people have lived the life over thousands of years on earth who've never had that chance? Is God, as a loving God, going to punish them for what they didn't know? I don't know. There's so much. Hopefully, my jet lag brain is making sense here.
I think it can be hard sometimes to consider other questions. And it doesn't mean you have to give up everything you believe. Sometimes the challenge is just, like you said, considering the question.
Mhm.
Um, and that was something that I never ever did when when I thought I knew everything.
Mhm.
And there's that quote that says all of us want certainty. We're all looking for certainty,
Mhm.
something to be 100% sure of. But they say certainty is where faith goes to die.
Yeah. Without faith, there is no doubt, or without doubt, there is no faith.
And I mean, I'm not even really, because I'm not talking about doubt. I'm just talking about, and see, again, you're talking, when you say without doubt, there is no faith, it's it sounds suddenly like I'm thinking, oh, that's actually a really, it's come from how you've grown up, Carrie.
Hmm.
Because you grew up being taught that doubt was not a good thing.
No, because you
Doubt
shouldn't
wasn't,
question, you shouldn't doubt, because if you question or doubt too much, you might be led astray.
yep. And so
Just trust the people who know more than you.
I don't think you need doubt to have faith, just an ability to acknowledge that you don't know everything. And I don't, and so, yeah, I never realized that I grew up in a culture where confessing you didn't know everything was similar to actually doubting, especially if you were asking questions that didn't fit the standard narrative and have the standard answers.
Right.
Or if you kept insisting the standard answer didn't fit.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and there was never room for uncertainty. Where you're sitting and you're reading a Bible verse, you're like, what does this mean? Well, we had at least one set of commentaries at my house
Yeah.
growing up. So we just went and grabbed the I think it was the green and red ones, looked it up and go, oh, that's what that means, and moved on.
Yep.
There was no conversation of, oh, I think this means this, and oh, I don't think that mean, and just, having a conversation, a discussion, and moving on. It was, you just looked at it, go, oh, that's what Ellen White says, that's what the commentary says, so it must be right because she's inspired by God. So why would she lead us wrong?
That has been the hardest thing for me. In my ladies group, we've been meeting together now for, I know, well over 5 years. And quite often when we're talking about things, they'd say to me, oh, they'd say, just read the Bible. Just read those couple of verses and look at exactly what they're saying and just give them room to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and hear what God's saying. And they'd always hear all this stuff. And I'd keep saying to them, you don't understand. You don't understand. It doesn't work that way for me. I read them and I try to let the Bible speak and hear exactly what it's saying. But all I hear is what I've been told it says because it's ingrained into me from the day I was born. I was taught the Bible stories from, it was read to me from
Mm-hmm.
before I could speak. And that's been the biggest challenge for me is letting some things speak or considering, not actually letting things speak. The biggest challenge has been considering that maybe it says something different to what I was told it always said.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean I've always changed my beliefs, but even just letting myself consider maybe it says this, maybe it says this, maybe it says this, maybe it says this. And all four of them could be valid interpretations.
Right. Yeah. And we're getting new Bible translations all the time. We're getting new information. I just ordered at the recommendation of somebody else I watch on YouTube. It's the SB. Let me look it up. Oh, it's the new Revised Standard updated version translation. Um, but it's a study Bible that she says puts a bunch of the SBL study Bible, and she said it has a
Okay.
bunch of historical information in it as well as the updated new revised standard version updated.
Okay.
and
So, yeah, sorry.
so I
My brain's
ordered that
gone.
one. It's on back order. I won't get it until sometime in February, but
Yeah.
um which is hard for me because I live in Amazon Prime territory where I normally get stuff in like 2 days, and it's difficult for me to wait.
Um, so you're talking about ordering a new Bible translation.
Mhm.
Um, so I know we started off talking about Stonehenge, but just to jump a little ways into the rabbit hole, I can't help myself.
That's fine.
Because
This
you've
is
been
about rabbit
away.
holes.
You've been away, so I haven't had a chance to talk about this yet.
Yeah.
So if I've got listeners, anybody listening to this, even if you end up listening to this in 4 or 5 months or even longer after this goes to air, if someone has this information and you want to come on the show and talk, I need you. Come on the show and talk to us, please. So, new Bible translations. My brain has been going crazy over the last couple of weeks while you've been away and busy. Bible translation. So one of my friends has brought, actually, it started off a little while back. I have a friend with a Catholic Bible, and I don't know about you, but I was always taught that the Catholics changed a couple of verses in their Bible to support what they want. And I remember, um, in our studies, they'd pull up one verse and then the verse in the Bible that we had and show that it was different.
Hmm.
That's not the whole truth. How did I never know until just recently that it's not about a verse here or there? They have whole extra books in the Bible,
Yeah, they
whole
do.
extra books. And then, sorry, it's just started to blow my mind. I didn't
Uh,
realize how ignorant I was and how much I didn't know about some things. And then, of course, recently, in the last year, I've heard a couple of talks about, so I can never say it correctly. Is it the Apocrypha?
yes,
The apocryphal books.
yes.
And I haven't read them all, but I did download stuff and start looking at it. And then recently, in the last week, one of my friends has brought an English translation of the Ethiopian Bible. And I think it's got over 200 books or something in it. Um, And so what I'd love if there's any history buffs that listen to this that can come on here and tell me this and talk to all of us about one, how the Bible was canonized, how it became canon, how it's canonized, who the people are that made that choice.
Hmm.
Did they choose books that specifically fitted their worldview at the time? I was always taught that God specifically organized, boom, these are the books. Did you get taught that? God chose this is it, this is the Bible, God picked it, he
Yeah.
inspired it.
I,
Nothing's missing, nothing needs to be added. It's exactly perfect. It has everything you need in it.
and I think I had sent you this on Facebook Messenger. And I found this out on another video on Academy Apologia or one of the other theology guys that the Bible that Ellen White held in vision has the Apocrypha in it,
It was the big heavy one.
the big heavy one. And it was very common at that time to have the Apocrypha. So the study Bible that I just ordered, so that New Revised Standard updated translation
Yep.
is available with the Catholic Bible or the Protestant Bible. So the study Bible is only available with the Apocrypha in it.
Hmm.
So the one I'm ordering is get it. And so then I ordered another smaller non-study Bible that doesn't have the Apocrypha in, just so it's smaller, so it's easier to. So I have both of them on order. Now that that has always been something interesting. Like, where did the Bible come from?
Well, I mean,
And
I know
I'm
what I was
sure,
taught originally,
yeah.
but I want to know who the people. So I'm starting to learn that there was a large collection of scrolls,
Mm-hmm.
and there's even my from what I there's a large collection of scrolls, and people just decided these are the ones we're going to make into the Bible, and these are the ones we're not going to put in. And so if you're looking at it, if I look at it, it would be so easy for me to say, the Catholics, even maybe their Bible has books that are essential because they're an older religion, so surely they would have older religious scrolls. And
Mm-hmm.
I read that the Ethiopian Bible is one of the oldest ones available. So why would you not believe? Why would you think that you didn't need all the information that was in it? How can I make decisions and base my whole life creed on something that has half the information missing? How did I not know it had information missing? And why did I spend all this time believing that there was no information missing?
I think Martin Luther may have had something to do with what was put in the Protestant Bible versus the Catholic Bible. Could be wrong. That sounds like something he would have been involved in. I know that there's I'll have to do a little bit of digging and see if there's any of the videos in some of the more theology based channels I've watched that might help answer some of those questions. But it is interesting, and I know Maccabees I think is part of the Apocrypha, and I
Yeah.
think that is where the cleansing of the temple actually happened, and they talk about that story, and that debunks the Adventist cleansing of the sanctuary and October 22nd, 1844, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so you think they did? So you're saying you're not saying, but what I hear is the person that founded the church that I grew up in, her Bible had the Apocrypha in it, but then when it didn't suit all the things she wanted to make as the little creed to run the church by, they took them out and gave us Bibles without them.
Uh,
You didn't say that, but that's what I
I
heard.
didn't say that. I
That's what
don't
my
know.
brain
I don't
automatically
know
went.
which books of the Apocrypha was in that. I will have to dig out that video and find it because I know that there's some Bibles with the Apocrypha that have more or less of those apocryphal books than others.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly which ones were in there. But yeah, it's hard to like, and we aren't the only Protestant Christians that have just the limited,
No, we're not.
the smaller Bible without the apocryphal books. Because when you're
And
putting in,
without And not to, you've got to go and have a look at the Ethiopian Bible because they've got more, even more than the apocryphal books. There's just more and more and more again.
I've never
Um,
even I never even heard of the Ethiopian Bible. I'm gonna look it up.
Neither had I until a friend of mine talked about it, and it's just been stretching my little brain. Um,
It says
it's been stretching
88
my little
books.
brain. And then I'm pretty sure there was more as well somewhere. You can 88 printed in it, and then the extra ones they give you digitally or something.
Huh.
Um, See, part of the reason I'm discussing this with you now is I do not live anywhere that Amazon will deliver. I can't even get it delivered to a local town and go and pick it up. Um, I did manage once to get some books off Amazon. They just redirect me always to Amazon Australia, and then they say they won't deliver to me. There's been once in 5 years I managed to log into my computer in I think what it's called. I was going to say stealth mode, but it's not stealth mode. It was incognito. I managed to log in incognito and get into the US Amazon, and I actually did manage to order about 5 or 6 books and pay for them. But then I could never log back in again to check if they were arriving or not. So I couldn't track them, and it was a bit of a drama. But I did get them. I've never managed to do it again.
I
It
wonder
just
if
picks up my IP address and sends me somewhere else.
you need a VPN.
Yeah, I probably do. So
My son uses one. I don't know for what, but he has one. There's a
um,
there's some free PDFs it looks like on Amazon. But the Bible I ordered, I didn't order it through Amazon because I didn't have any in stock because it's in demand right now. I
yeah,
ordered it through christianbook.com,
okay.
but I don't know if they are just US company. I have no idea. But it's to me it's interesting, and I think it's always important to be ready to learn new things and realize that
Mm.
you don't have everything, you don't understand, we don't know everything, and we're discovering new stuff all the time. So one thing that we saw on the trip, we were in Cartagena, which is in Spain, and up until so we went on a cruise. We stopped in Cartagena, Malaga, did a day at sea, went to Vigo, Spain, and then went to the UK. And in Cartagena, they didn't have a cruise port there until like 15 years ago because there really
Hmm.
wasn't anything for people to see there. So there wasn't really a reason to stop in Cartagena until they found, and I will share this picture. Um, they were doing some construction and they discovered this.
I saw that.
It's a Roman
When did they
amphitheater.
discover it?
So they were doing construction and literally it's in the middle of town. Let me see. There was a better picture that showed like the background. So yeah, here is the theater, here are our
Yep.
houses. So they
Wow.
were doing some construction project, found this theater. They ended up emptying the neighborhood, relocating everybody, They excavated this. There's an old cathedral right there as well. They lost an entire Roman theater. They didn't know what was there.
So, do you remember how
How
long ago
can
they
we
found it?
think we know everything about history when they're losing an entire flippin' a theater? Okay.
That's crazy.
So what, and that's happened like the city of Troy, which we saw on our previous trip. Other ones is where they didn't know it was there. So what happened was is when the Romans left, and you can see right here, they
Mm,
kept remnants of some shops. So when the Romans were gone, they turned the theater into like a marketplace.
yeah,
So, and then they started building houses, and then they built that, and then they all forgot that there's a theater there.
crazy.
So they lost an entire theater. So we can't say we know everything about history. We don't know everything right now. We don't know all of the timelines. We need to be open to new discoveries. And I think history can be a lot about like medicine. We need to be open to learning new information, new studies, theaters that are lost that we didn't know, that we don't know are there anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
this was just fantastic. It's big. It wasn't one that was used like a coliseum. It was for plays and things. You know, that was gone. Then Malaga, like the same thing happened in Malaga where they found a theater. It's not as big as this one. And so they're finding these things all the time. It was right there. They just didn't look in the right spot.
That is crazy.
I mean, can you
It's
imagine trying to run a construction company in some of these ancient towns? You're like, okay, we're going to build a house here. You stick a shovel in or a backhoe, and you're like, crud, there's a theater.
I love that. Yeah, it's not like they just found an arrowhead, is it? There's a whole theater.
No, no. I mean, I found an arrowhead in our field many years ago, an arrowhead just right there, but the theater, and all of
See,
these fantastic things.
when you tell me this story now, my brain goes, whoa, and I have this whole sense of wonder and excitement. Um, if you'd told me this 4 or 5 years ago, I still would have been excited for the concept and the idea of it,
Hmm.
but I would have filtered the information through everything that I'd grown up believing. It wouldn't have caused me to think, oh, what else do I not know? What have I been believing? What do I believe that maybe isn't the whole picture?
Well, and I
That
think
what,
and I think we get so focused, and I mean, you live in another part of the world than I do, but as an American, we're dealing with, a lot of stuff right now. And
Mhm.
we get so focused and narrow-minded on our own rights, our own privilege, our own visibility. And it's like open our eyes, see what else is going on around us, and help us learn more. And that's what I love about traveling. You see all of this stuff. You talk to people who live differently, look differently. Living in the middle, can you imagine? Like you live in this house that for years, and you grew up there, and all of a sudden you go back home to visit, and you look out your parents' window, and it's not the neighbor's house anymore. It's a Roman theater that was there. Like it's just, okay,
Can't even imagine it.
how, I mean, and they just embraced this new knowledge, and just now it's a great source of income and tourism for their town. They didn't have a cruise port. There was no reason for people to come to visit. And now people are coming to see because this new thing that was unearthed accidentally, you know, new information. Keep digging and you
I
Google, look at different things. You're going to see stuff that maybe you didn't see before. That was just right there.
that's that's such a great example, Carrie, of uh, a whole culture just integrating and embracing new information and making it a whole part of their story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking that that's just not something you see very often. And I mean, you do when you in that sort of thing. But I was thinking, if you think about that as an allegory of religious change or spiritual change and how I've grown up, and I was just thinking, what have I done? Have I always embraced new information and made it part of my story? And for the last 3 or 4 years, probably 2 or 3 years, I'd like to say yes. But before that, I didn't. I always processed the new information through the filter of what I already believed. And if it didn't fit in the filter, I squished the new information to make it fit.
Yeah.
Whereas now I get like those people to, I get to embrace, just like make it part of my story. It's such an
Mhm.
exciting place to be.
It's so freeing too, because and I think that the pride of believing you have everything right keeps you closed off and unwilling to learn more and to see new things. And you don't want to be, I can imagine, like I said, being a contractor or trying to do a building project in a town like this. If you're too scared to stumble across something that could change your life, you're not going to move forward.
I love that.
Yeah. And if you're
I
not
love that.
moving forward, willing to say, you know what, I know this is risky. We found the cornerstone of something. We don't know what it is. Should we keep digging or should we just pretend we never saw it?
I think we need to make a meme just for you, Carrie, that says, if you're too scared, if you're too scared to stumble across something,
And it is
then it's
scary. It
important.
really is scary to do something, to dig and go, you know what, this might upend everything I ever believed. Do I want to walk down this path, or do I want to just stay where I'm at, comfortable, believing that I'm right?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Big questions.
Good questions. I think it's probably a good spot to end for today.
I
Um,
was thinking that we'll finish on the contemplative aspect.
yeah, I mean, just I think I'd like to challenge, if you've made it to the end of this video, what is something that you've been scared to explore, scared to learn? Get that book. I've been reading some stuff lately that's been a little, challenging at times. Um, but I think you're open to a whole new world. You might stumble across some hidden gem in your backyard that you didn't know you were right there, that was right there this whole time. That could just change things for you. Like the old theater in Cartagena that nobody knew was there, or people had forgotten it was there, but they just didn't know it. So if you guys have any questions, comments, like, subscribe. We'll see you at our next video. We'll probably have something else to talk about, or maybe we're continuing the conversation. We'll see. Um, Great to see all of you, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Please like and subscribe. Bye.